everybody, welcome back to the Jensory YouTube channel with me, Jen. It's August and the theme for August on Jensory is Under the Sea. So today I'm going to show you how to make something super simple, super cheap, that's going to help with all kinds of different skills. So I'm going to put the resource list up on the screen now so you can check all the things you might need for it, pause it, jot it down if you need to, and then we can get cracking. So this video is going to focus on something that I'm very passionate about called active learning, and active learning is kind of what it says in the tin. So these kind of videos will be all about physical development and independence. So active learning is all about trying to get your learner or your child to do as much for themselves as possible. That's what the central kind of reasoning is behind it. It's all about them being an active participant in their learning. So as you can see, I've got lots of lovely sensory bits in front of me here. This is all from B&M. You can probably get all of it online quite cheaply as well, but I absolutely love just going to B&M and having a little rummage around. You can find all kinds of lovely sensory bits in there, so highly recommend that. Now, if you've watched some of my videos in the past, you'll know how passionate I am about tactile development. It's something I talk about in the Monday Messy stuff all the time. And if you've watched some of the videos before, you'll know that I've made busy boards before as well. Now, these are similar, but I'd probably call these tactile boards rather than busy boards. That being said, there's absolutely loads of different ways that you can use these, okay? So we're not just talking those learners that are on the sort of early exploration kind of level. We can use this in a multitude of different ways. I always try and do that with Jensory as much as I can. To try and make it as inclusive as possible. So bear with me and I'll talk through lots of different ways that we can use this one. Okay, so the basics to start off with, I am using chopping boards for this. Now this is a pack of 4, obviously all different colours, and I think they were £2.99 for 4, and I'm actually very tempted to go and get some more because they're just fabulous. So as you can see, they're all different colours, so I'm already thinking ahead of, you know, using that one for a woodland theme, that one for a kind of Valentine's theme, this one for an Arctic theme. We love a good theme on Jensory, don't we? So this one I'm going to use for our Under the Sea one. Now I've also got a big one as well, so if you want to do a really sort of big board with lots of different things to kind of feel and touch and explore on, then I think this one was literally £2.99 as well, so it's up to you, but they are fabulous. Now these ones are actually textured already, so if you run your fingers over them, you get a really lovely sound, and so you've got some auditory feedback straight away. So I probably wouldn't recommend covering the whole thing in bits and pieces because actually you're going to miss out on that really nice texture on its own. So I'm just going to talk through the different ways that we can use this. So here's my blue one. Now I've got some bits and pieces here that I picked up. These I absolutely adore. These are pebbles. Obviously we're not using these to kind of count and stuff with, so you don't need to worry too much about the choking hazard because you're sticking them down onto here. But that being said, and this is a real kind of known thing in active learning, the responsibility level is on the person making the board, so you need to make sure that these are really well stuck down if you're going to use them. I've also got a pack of my absolute favourite sponges in the entire world. I've used these for about 10 years, but they're just the best. They're sparkly and they feel amazing, and for anything under the sea related, they are fab. I also bought a fake succulent, which I thought would be really good to just stick on and have a little kind of feel of. Again, it's another texture that we can whack in there. They're really cheap as well. I think that was about £1, so highly recommend those as well. And then for £1.50, adhesive gems. So obviously they're nice and sparkly and nice and visual, but you can put them in whatever pattern you like to create your own kind of textures, so they're really cool too. I've also got a roll of bubble wrap here for the bigger stuff. This was about £3 for 4 metres, so again super cheap. Bubble wrap's really good as well for isolating fingers, so it kind of promotes that sort of an action as well as a sort of sweeping action and gives a lot of auditory feedback as well. I also bought a pack of sandpaper. Now some people say not to use sandpaper because it is such a distinctive texture that some children shy away from it, but actually I would say you get a lot of feedback from sandpaper, and it behaves in different ways depending on how quickly you move your hand and things, so I actually would recommend using sandpaper because it gives a lot of neural kind of stimulation and feedback. So yeah, so there's that, and it fits in with the undersea theme, and I love a theme, so that's always good. Now in terms of fastening things to the board, you've got a few options there. Now I tend to use these are glue dots, which are literally just little dots of glue, and you can stick things like that onto the board really easily with those. They are durable but obviously removable, so if you want to change themes quite regularly, or your learner requires you to kind of change things up quite a lot, they're really good. If you're making a board that you want full durability of though, and you kind of think that's going to be a permanent board that I'm just going to use all the time, then glue gun is definitely the way forward. And before I crack on with making one of these boards so you can see what it looks like, I just want to mention, if you're watching this as an educator or a parent and you're thinking, okay, my child or learner is a bit beyond that, they don't need that early kind of tactile play and that sort of sweeping actions and scratching actions and isolating their fingers, if they can do all of that, then actually these are really cool to make for a resource to support symbolic play. Now, I've talked a lot in my videos about what I call like role play ready learners, and they are children neurotypically that are sort of 2 to 7. And this can be made to support small role play. So actually you can put all of those things out, get them to choice make, get them to learn about sticking things down, which again is another fine motor activity, which is really good. And they can choose where they want to put stuff. And then you can bring in sharks and fish and SeaWorld creatures, and then they've got a really lovely board to use for role play. Moving on even further from that as well, you can get early DT skills here as well. So you can actually get your child or learner, if they're that bit older, to do sort of a design of what they want their board to look like, and then kind of put that into practice and get those early design and technology skills up as well. Something else as well that did dawn on me as I was making them was how cool these would be to use for a story, to kind of facilitate that in a really sort of sensory way. So actually you could put a story kind of going left to right, so that actually the child can like go on a little tactile sensory journey as you're telling the stories. That might be a really nice way of using them as well. One last point as well, I feel like my brain is going 100 miles an hour with all the things that you could do with these. Don't forget you can use these with children or learners on their feet as well, so they're really nice and sturdy because of the boards on the bottom, so actually you can go on a bit of a tactile walk if you want to, or even if they're in their supportive seating, you can kind of facilitate that by getting their shoes and socks off and taking them on a little kind of tactile journey with their feet as well. A lot of children and learners quite like things on their feet if they're a little bit tactile defensive with their hands. So that's another way of using these so multifunctional boards. So have fun with them. So if you liked the video today, please do give it a thumbs up down at the bottom. That does help this video get seen by more people, and that's what Jensory is all about, trying to get this out to more learners. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as well, you can do so. There should be a button coming up on the screen somewhere now as well. But until next time, take care everybody, and I'll see you soon.